You know that feeling, right? Someone gets aggressive and your brain just screams fight or flight. But what if I told you the most powerful response is neither? Today, we're going to break down the psychology of de-escalation. This is about how to take control of a confrontation, not by winning it, but by deciding if it even gets to happen at all.
Right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. Everything you've probably been told about standing up for yourself might just be wrong. The goal here isn't to meet aggression with more aggression. We're going to use some subtle psychological tricks to completely flip the script. This isn't about landing a punch. It's about making sure a punch is never even thrown.
So you have to understand what the other person actually wants. See, an aggressor feeds on your reaction. They need your emotion. They need you to engage. They're basically begging you to play their game. Our new goal? Refuse to play. We're not aiming for a reaction. We're aiming for control. Not for emotion, but for calm. And not for engagement, but for strategic disengagement. Okay, so our first big idea is a massive mindset shift, and it's called the power of nothing. I know, it sounds a little weird, but you're about to see how true power in these moments often comes from what you don't do.
Think of it like this. An aggressor is looking for emotional fuel. Your anger, your fear, your long explanations, that's the gasoline for their fire. When you give them nothing, no big reaction, no excuses, well, that fire has nothing to burn. You basically starve it of oxygen before it can get out of control.
So how do we actually do this? Well, it breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, you gotta master the pause. Someone comes at you hot, just wait. Don't say anything. That silence is incredibly unnerving, and it shows you're calm, not scared. Second, project total indifference. I mean, act like they're a piece of furniture. Look at something else in the room. And finally, the ultimate power move, just walk away. It's not running away, it's a statement. It says, we're done here, and it's on your terms.
Now that we've got the mindset down, let's get physical, but not in the way you're thinking. This section is all about your nonverbal toolkit. These are the techniques that project absolute control without you having to say a single word. First up is a classic, but we're going to do it with a very specific twist. We're talking about controlled, extended eye contact. The key here is all about the timing.
Look, this is not an aggressive staring contest. It's about a confident presence. You just hold their gaze for 1 second longer than feels normal. It sends a clear message, I see you, and I am not intimidated. The person who looks away first is the one who gives up psychological ground. You want to be the one who stays present.
All right, technique number 2 is, well, it's my personal favorite because it is so incredibly disarming. It's the smirk. Just a small, barely noticeable smile.
So why is this little expression so powerful? Well, a smirk just radiates this unnerving confidence. It suggests that you're amused, not threatened. It makes them second-guess themselves, thinking, wait a minute, what do they know that I don't? And just like that, you flip the whole script. Their attempt to be aggressive suddenly looks kind of silly, and you're the one in control.
Let's look at what your body's doing. Our instinct, our go-to reaction, is to tense up, clench our fist, brace for impact. The strategic move is to consciously do the exact opposite. Deliberately relax your shoulders, let them drop. Keep your hands open and loose. This projects a deep, powerful calm that just screams, I am not worried about you. Here's another really subtle physical move. Take 1 small half step closer to them. It's not an aggressive charge, just a tiny, calm advance. It subtly invades their personal space and it forces them to recalculate. It's a quiet move that makes them think twice before escalating.
Okay, we've covered the body language. Now let's add some verbal techniques to our arsenal. But again, these aren't about winning an argument. They're all designed to completely de-escalate the situation.
When someone raises their voice at you, what's the first thing you want to do? Match them, right? Get loud too. I want you to do the exact opposite. The most powerful thing you can do is lower your voice.
And the psychology behind this is just fascinating. When you speak more quietly, you force them to stop shouting just so they can hear what you're saying. They might even have to lean in, which physically puts them in a position where they're following your lead. You completely break that expected pattern of yelling getting louder and louder, and you snatch back control of the dynamic.
Okay, this next one is so simple, but it is incredibly effective. All you have to do is use the other person's name. The moment you say something like, listen, Charles,
You pull them out of their angry, aggressive script. It stops being some faceless conflict and becomes a personal interaction between two specific people. And you know what? People find it a lot harder to be aggressive when they feel like they're being seen as an individual.
And for our last verbal tool, we've got something I call the odd question. This is all about completely derailing their train of thought.
See, an aggressor has a script in their head. They expect you to get defensive or argue back. But when you hit them with a question like, "What do you hope to get from this?" it shatters that script. You force them off their pre-planned attack and put them on the back foot. Now they're the ones who have to justify their own behavior.
All right, let's bring all of this home now. Let's tie it all together under one unifying concept, which is, without a doubt, your ultimate weapon, the unpredictability advantage.
This right here is the core idea. Aggressors, bullies, they rely on being able to predict you. They size you up, they put you in a box, and they anticipate how you're going to react. Your greatest power is to deny them that. Behave in a way they could never, ever see coming.
So what does that actually look like? Well, let's say everyone knows you as the patient, quiet one. A sudden, controlled burst of sharp intensity will absolutely shock them. Or maybe you're known for being a bit hot-headed. In that case, a moment of complete, still calm will be deeply unsettling for them. If you're the talkative one, go completely silent. Acting against your type makes you impossible to read, and if they can't read you, they can't control you.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We're so often taught that power is about winning the fight, right? About getting the last word in. But maybe real power, true control, lies in having the ability to decide if the fight even happens in the first place.
Hey, if you found this toolkit for handling confrontations useful, do me a favor and give this a like, and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology. And hey, maybe share it with someone you know who could use these techniques. Thanks for watching.